it up in front of the camera, but I can't resist talking with you. I'm making a very fine meat sauce. Started it about 30 minutes ago, getting that water really going. You notice how finely minced the meat is, right? The base is onions, garlic, but more than that, it's this incredible. One of the things I love about Northern California, as I've said before, is certainly not the politicians. It's the artisan, the folks who raise things like this. This is basically a red bell pepper that's purple, or antioxidants. Fantastic, it's delicious. I've always loved red bell pepper. So I tried the purple one. Fantastic. And we used these. They're getting harder to find, these Fresno chilies. They're small. They're jalapeno, but a little different in taste. Fantastic. I chopped them in. Of course, you need Dr. Onion with everything. And see how fine the meat is? It's minced meat, basically. That's how it should be. It's, I don't eat much meat since the event of several years ago. I know all about the conversion factors, but the evidence is not that strong one way or the other. So I've been on a largely, not vegan, but it's too thin for me. Vegan diets, for me, don't work because my brain is too active, and highly active brains need animal protein, especially the B12, which you're not going to get from vegetables. Anyone who's studied nutrition knows that. So now I eat the meat once every week, or no, I would say every few weeks I have a piece of meat. But I love to make a hot meat sauce, see? How nice it is, you hear it crackling away. Now my bucatini, which is incredible, I love bucatini, see? They're almost killed now. They're almost dead. Look at that. That one's with the large centerpiece. Caught fire down there. We don't want that. The bucatini is going to go in the sauce, and that's it. It's really simple. Spaghetti and meat sauce. How hard is that? It's easy in one way and complex in another, like life itself. You can make it easy. You can make it hard. I like everything more complicated than it should be. But most particularly, at the end of the day, that looks so good. Wow. Drinking some wine, right? Only my white wine. Through a looking glass. Through a looking glass is actually funny. See, through a looking glass, the meniscus of my wine glass. You know, life looks better through a meniscus of wine. I'm eating with you tonight on a couple of serious notes. The left is so vicious right now. We've always known they're un-American. We always known they create nothing and tear things down. Make no mistake about it. Listen, let me be very clear. The American left, as all leftist groups around the world, whether the Shining Path or the Baader-Meinhof gang that killed people in Germany, the Shining Path, they're all the same. They want to tear society down. And they rebuild nothing. They build nothing. They steal from those of us who create. They destroy the things that we create. They are worthy of our attention. Let's leave it at that. Now, today they went after Trump in New York. The racist African-American Attorney General Letitia James was elected strictly because of her race, not because of her legal acumen. She's a vicious racist. So today, she brought an indictment against Donald Trump and his children. You say, oh, good for her. No, not good for her. She belongs in prison for what she did. Even Attorney General Bill Barr, who doesn't like Trump, called it a political witch hunt again. Now, what they're doing is obvious. They're neutralizing Trump because they know he can destroy the left, as he tried to do. Got to moisten my meat a little bit. So now they drag his children into it. Isn't it odd that we all know Hunter is a criminal? Everyone knows Hunter Biden is a degenerate drug addict, crackhead, bag man for Big Daddy, bag man for the big guy, whether it's from Ukraine, wherever it was. And there's no indictments against old Hunter. Clean as the driven snow. This is one of the ways that you know you're living in a tyranny, where they bring indictments against the innocent and they release the guilty without any legal ramifications. Same thing happened today, California. The so-called Attorney General took Sheriff Villanova off a case where he was tracking total corruption of Sheila QL, a remarkably corrupt, nightmarish leftist degenerate. In my unhumble opinion, he almost had her cornered and trapped. That is Sheila QL. And the so-called Attorney General of the state of California took Sheriff Villanova off the case because he trapped her and caught her in a corruption racket. I have a friend who is basically liberal at his core, who said we're living in an upside-down world. Everything is upside down. The innocent are guilty, the guilty are innocent. The homeless are sacred when they're the filth of the earth, who should be rounded up and put into internment camps for their own sake. Instead, they let them pollute and crap in our cities and treat them like sacred cows. The illegal aliens, 4 million of them. Think of it, larger than most cities in America. 4 million disgusting bums released from the prisons. Do you understand what's going on in this country? I try to constrain myself because I cannot take it anymore, and I don't want to blow up. I don't want to explode. I have too many good things going on in my life. Do you understand what they're doing? Do you understand how corrupt Biden actually is? Do you get it? Do you know any other nation on earth that has actually let itself be invaded by a foreign power? Look at these young men coming in from Caracas, Venezuela. It's the Mario boat invasion all over again. He's freeing their prisons, his prisons, of the scum of the earth. And look at their nice outfits. I was the first one to call it the equivalent of the Mario boat invasion. Doesn't matter whether I get credit. What matters is that you understand what the hell is going on in front of your eyes. This bum called Biden, this corrupt, lying bastard, he is the most corrupt liar in the history of the American presidency. Look, I've had problems with other presidents. I've never seen someone who was a pathological liar like this, who was allowed to get away with it because of Jake Tapper or Wolf Blitzer. Make no mistake about it. It's because of their corruption. Wait a minute, this is more important than Biden. Gotta show you what I just did. See, I'm frying my pasta now in the sauce. Of course, not that hard to do. None of this is complicated food. I cook peasant food. It's peasant cookery. Make no mistake about it. I'm not trying to be a Michelin chef. I don't even know what a Michelin chef is because I never went to a restaurant. Anyone has a Michelin chef I wouldn't go to. I wouldn't eat that crap. That fancy, drecky French food. Portions are too small. Everything's too sweet. Everything's too sacred. Screw them. I eat peasant food. That's what I do. I understand peasant cookery. It's kept the world going. whether it's peasant cookery from Europe, Africa, Asia. Now, I could add more of the bottled sauce to this. What do you think? Should I add more sauce? No. You know why? It'll be too saucy. Oh, I love it. Look at that, how perfect that looks. In a minute, I'll start talking about the corrupt liar Biden, who belongs well, let's stop right here. I'm only one man alone. I have no one behind me. I have no one backing me up. I have nothing. I have nothing backing me up, but you know what? The truth. You know, we hear God sees the truth but waits. Yeah, it does need a tad more sauce, you're right. Others can be too dry. I agree. I like dryness, cooked to dryness. I learned it from a friend who understood Asian cookery many years ago, Thai cookery in particular. Wow, does that look good. And in a few minutes, I'm going to sign off. I've been with you already 11 minutes. How do you like that? It's a nice meat sauce. I don't know if I want more sauce. I don't, actually. Because I'm going to put pecorino on it. You know, the Italians who understand cheese would say pecorino, which is sheep cheese, by the way. Much different than the stuff you get in Italian restaurants, which is totally different. I'm not saying it's bad, good. I don't like burying my food in sauce. I like a little dryness. Look at it. Oh, it's so good. I wish you could see how happy I am. Cooking well is the best revenge. If only the cooks on cooking shows understood that. Some of them do, very few. That's food fit for a savage, not for a king. King Charles, would he understand this, that moron? That inbred moron? I told you, I'm not a fan of the royal family. I'm supposed to worship Queen Elizabeth, whatever the hell. All right, she was a benign queen. Good for her. I told you what I think of him. My father hated royalists because he came from Russia. He hated royalty. And I guess I inherited my disdain for these inheritance cases, whether they live in Westchester or Marin County. You're all basically losers. I've known a few here in the Bay Area. The father left them some money while the fathers were alive. They acted like gods. They're garbage. Whether they're the Gettys, it doesn't matter. They're all shit. They amount to nothing. None of them. I sent my children to state schools, and I said, it's up to you to make something yourself, and both did. God bless them. Honestly, directly. Right, bucatini is great because it's hollow inside. It absorbs the sauce. Should I add a little more? I want to hear a vote. I mean, I'm largely a vegetarian, pescatarian, schmeckatarian, putzatarian, but I needed meat tonight. The country is burning. Biden is burning the nation to the ground. But he doesn't even know it. He's such a deranged piece of trash. You know, he's actually the definition of white trash. Biden, make hashtag this. Hashtag Biden white trash. He defines what white trash is. They stand for nothing. He has no beliefs. He's a front man for the far left. Think about this. That piece of shit, Bernie Sanders, is running the national economy. He's on the most important Senate Committee on Finance. That piece of garbage who never ran an honest stand in his life. Don't get me started. I don't want to get started. I want to get angry. And the corrupt wife and the corrupt Bernie Sanders. And there's the occasional Cortex, the hater of white people, even though she grew up in a upper middle class Westchester home, daughter of an architect, she pretends to be, down with the people. Another fraud. But she was brainwashed by Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is the most evil person in the American political life right now. He's poisoned the minds of millions of young women, mainly. Some young men who they just want to get laid, so they go along with what the girls say. They don't know anything. The boys are stupid. The girls are absolutely morons, and the boys are even stupider. It's all about sex, drugs, and rock and roll. So they pretend to be Marxists, hey, way cool, as long as their parents pay for them. Well, I think that's it for the night. I mean, I will add a little sauce, I think, to this. So I produced a new podcast today called Trickle Down Tyranny, based upon my book from 2000 and whatever, 20 years ahead of my time, 30 years ahead of my time. I'm not looking for an accolade. The results are in. Because of you, my audience. I learned it from my advertising agency. I don't care whether you believe it or not. I know what data is. This podcast, the Michael Savage Podcast, heard around the world, is one of the top 0.5% podcasts in the entire world. I want you to think about it. I'm one man alone in a kitchen with a wonderful team that helps me of 2 or 3 people. But because of you, it's 0.5% top podcast in the whole world. No Fox News, no CNN, no MSNBC, nothing. Nothing but the truth, ma'am, nothing but the truth. My advertising agency represents 3,000 podcasts. They have 300 million downloads per week. Listen to the numbers. They love me, and we're renewing our contract. And I only ask God to permit me to renew my contract with God. As the Jewish holidays approach, Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, I ask God for one thing. Please renew my contract for another year. Shana Tova to all of you. May God inscribe you all in the book of life. I hope to see you again before the new year of the Jewish holidays. You're not. It doesn't matter whether you're Jewish or not. Everyone knows that autumn is sort of a renewal. It's the end and the beginning of things. We all feel it. The weather changes. We change. The animals change. And maybe tomorrow I'll do another cooking show. Maybe I won't. I'm going to try and do one cooking show a week. I found out today that we can run audio and video on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So I'm going to do one cooking show a week, I think, or one ride in my car over the Golden Gate Bridge to show you what the scum of the earth have done to this beautiful city. What Pelosi, the gangster, did to San Francisco by looking the other way while she sacked the city and let it die. Oh, yeah, we'll go through the homeless communities and show you what she did. The great Pelosi. We'll show you some of this stuff. We'll drive over the Golden Gate Bridge. Maybe we'll go out on my boat. I don't know. Maybe we won't. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to have a good year with God's will and your listenership. I, Michael Savage, on the Michael Savage Podcast, shall return. Thank you so much for making this show the success that it is. And forget my detractors. They don't exist. Tout ça n'existe pas. Good night now. God bless America.